Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you see this. This is Dee with older INFP-A, which is Assertive Insights. And I'm going to talk today about don't tell what you know, particularly at work and in any situation where someone has authority over you. Don't tell them what you know, thinking that you're going to get a promotion, thinking that you're going to be helpful, which we do as INFPs, and the like. Right now, will say really quick, I'm in the mood to do shorter videos with my socks and not me. I do cough because of the weather. Getting some water here. Weather, allergies, whatever. It's freezing this morning. It's going to be in the 80s later in the week. So I don't feel like setting everything up, but going to do socks. That's fine. Topic today is don't tell what you know, particularly in the workplace. It's going to work against you. So how is it going to work against you? It's going to work against you in that you think, and this has happened to me, and it's happened not just to me, it's happened to a lot of people who are in the last half of the work career, or towards I'll say 50 and above. I think I'm living to 100, so if it hadn't been for COVID, I'd still be working. But talking mainly to those folks, but it could happen to anybody. And I'll give you some examples. One example, and I hear it over and over again, is that you tell them what you know. INFPs, let me back up a second. INFPs, our second function is NE, which is extroverted, external intuition. I call it external, which means we think of all the possibilities, which means we make a boss look good. We stand in the background. We know we stand in the background. A lot of times people appreciate that, being in the background. If that's what you truly want to do and never get ahead and want to be and get released from your job once they glean all your information, then that's fine. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the average person, which I don't think that is average. And when it's a one-way street. So what do I mean? We're very good at brainstorming, getting into group staff meetings, talking a lot about staff meetings too. I know in my last work career, any of my work careers, I will go all the way back to my first job right out of college with a degree in English and a minor in religion and philosophy. There are lots of jobs for that. I wound up as the night manager at Burger King, which taught me a lot. I will say, taught me a lot, but it didn't have anything to do with my degree. I was the first female manager in the whole tri-area of my state, and I was used as a marketing tool that I found out later. I thought it was the advancement of my career, but it wasn't. What happened was I had to work. I didn't get my days off like the rest of the people did. I quit and just walked out when I had worked 14 days straight with no day off. You do that on the night shift, working with teenagers, which is what I did. That's kind of rough. So I left, but I was used, and they got a lot of hype because no other fast food chain in the area had a female manager. Didn't get me where I needed to be in life, but I did that, and I was used. My good nature was used, thinking that I was going to be promoted. Secondly, worked in retail, did very well on commissions, worked in a major store here where I live. We worked on commission. I was the second highest seller in my area. The manager took my commissions from me. I wondered why I wasn't making as much money, and then they found out, well, she wound up convicted of a felony, stealing money. She stole over $10,000 from the company. So that's what happened. That wasn't really liked. Moving quite right along, the last 20 years of my career, I went back to school, and I was a social worker. And you can do anything you want to in social work. And one of the jobs I had were in healthcare, and we would have, the thing I don't like about social workers, I love social work, not the social workers, is that we would have meetings, and we would have meetings of what time to have a meeting. And it was the most inefficient waste of time when I could just be doing my job, sitting alone at my desk, thinking about daydreams and what I want to be doing. I was not allowed, in any of these jobs, I was not allowed to miss a meeting. Other people were allowed to miss a meeting. I was not. I was told in all of my workplaces, and there were several, I was told that the reason being that I give good input, and that kind of by my supervisor. And I was missed. Well, can't other people give inputs? But it was the NE. It was the NE. Now I know it was the NE that they were sucking, they were wanting, they were sucking it dry. Got me nowhere. Actually, the last job I had was in a homeless shelter, and I didn't go to one of the meetings. I wasn't going to go, and I told my supervisor I'm not going to go. And he told me I had to. I was actually throwing up. I would just say got sick at work. I was actually throwing up in my office. I was waiting for it to die down so I could go home. But being in a homeless shelter, and we had a medical clinic there was really no reason for me to go home. You don't get time off. So he told me I had to go to the meeting, and I'll just tell you just straight up. He said I could go after I give my report. I could give my report first, but I had to go. And I went with a trash can attached to my side. That's how sick I was. But I had to go. The worst thing that happened, and I did walk out, and I ended up walking out of a lot of these jobs because I got overworked, overstrained, not paid enough. I never made a livable wage, but that's another issue. One job I had was as a CEO of a medium-sized nonprofit that served 3 different counties in my state. My home state has 100 counties, and it served 3 counties. When I took the job, and I was there for 4 years, and I loved it. When I took the job, they didn't have, they were 3 months behind, and they lied to me about how much money they had. They were 3 months behind in their rent. Their lights had just been turned on. They did have any money in the bank. The past director had cooked the books to make the annual report look like they had millions of dollars, and they did not. So I moved halfway across the state, bought a house, and they had no money. So I wrote grants, and we are good for writers. There's one good career for INFPs is writing, and I found out I had never written a grant proposal in my whole life, and I wrote one, and I started getting money, and I found out that I was very good at it. And to make a long story short, over a period of 4 years, and we bounced the budget every year, we got it back to where it needed to be, got the trust of the benefactors, all this kind of stuff I had to do to be out in the community, got nationwide grants all the way to local grants and everything in between. At the time, right before I left, or walked out, we had $250,000 excess in the bank. So it went from nothing to $250,000 excess in the bank. I put it there, and I'm proud I put it there. And I had a lot of ideas for the growth of the organization. So the president of the board sat with me one day. And she was a new president, and nobody really wanted her to be the president, but nobody else wanted it, so they gave it to her. And she sat down with me one day for hours and hours and just picked my brain, picked my NE. That's what it was, picking my NE. And I gave her all the ideas. Big mistake. Instead of saying, I don't know, gave her all the ideas. Even the company name change. I had a company name change to better reflect what the company was doing then. Where to move, how to grow, how to get it for nothing, this, that, and the other. So after 3 or 4 hours of this, about a week or two later, I got called in by the board. It wasn't a board meeting, it was just, they wanted to talk to me. I thought by having all this extra money in the bank, all this that I had done, all the work that I had done, all the goodwill, and I had done it out of the kindness of my heart and dedication to, it was a nonprofit, so out of the dedication to the cause. See, that's another INFP thing. We care a lot, and we got a passion. We'll go full force on it. I thought I was going to get a raise because I wasn't doing this with a livable wage. I will tell you. Sat down, and they started talking, and lo and behold, they were interrogating me, and they tried to find something wrong with me. They were trying to get me fired. So this is what happens. It backfires on you. I know this is what happened to me. I was in my 50s when this happened. Won't do it again. I will say, too, it's not just me. I have talked to tons of people 50 and older when this was going on. Same thing happened to them. They're highly educated, highly motivated, highly innovative, whatever you want to call it, particularly if they've got the NE going on. Because it's not an NE world. A corporate world is not the NE world. So if you get into that, they're going to suck it out of you and claim it for themselves. So I've heard of people that same thing happened. They get all the information, and then they fire them, and you're out of a job. You don't have anything you're thinking, and that really hurts. I will tell you another story about happened to my dad's best friend when he was in the Army back in World War II. He was a student. He was a college student. He was probably an INTP. He was an absent-minded professor, quite literally an absent-minded professor. He taught physics, and he was a meteorologist. Very smart. I didn't take after him. Very smart, but he couldn't screw in a light bulb, I don't think. He broke. I used to laugh at him, get entertained by it, because he would break more things trying to fix it around the house, and my mother would she would just say, sit down, stop. But couldn't do anything like that at all. But very brainy, but he got drafted towards the end of the World War II, and so he went to cadet school at Yale. They put him in cadet school at Yale for a while, and I think that, I don't know the details, but I think maybe that's where he learned the meteorologist part, meteorology. But anyway, his roommate there at school, so he had to quit college. He's from Wisconsin. I know you can tell by my accent that he's from Wisconsin. So they took him out of college. He got drafted. Somehow he wound up at Yale in cadet school in the Army Air Corps and training. And his roommate there actually designed a gauge, and I can't remember what gauge it is. I'm sure they don't use it now with the jets, but designed a gauge for the airplane. And being patriotic as he was, and being helpful as he thought he would be, he didn't patent it himself. He gave it to the country, to the United States, to help with the war effort. That gauge not only was put into every airplane during World War II, up until they had jets. I don't know, it may still be in a jet now, I don't know. But up until then, for decades, that gauge was in every commercial airline and every plane around, and I can't remember what gauge it was he designed. He ended up very depressed. I don't know if he was an alcoholic or anything like that, but he was very depressed. I've met him a few times when I was little. He never got recognition for it. He never got got a penny for it. They just kicked him to the curb. They took it, and whoever from the country. I'm not saying anything bad about the country. Again, it's corporations. We're talking about bosses. We're talking about it could happen anywhere, not just the corporate, the workplace. I'm just saying the workplace in general. He would have been not got any recognition. He was very depressed. He felt it was stolen. He felt very, very bad. He spent the rest of his life, never got over it. So, yeah, you steal ideas. Everything, a lot of things get stolen. It happens to still today. On a larger, that's kind of a large scale, all the way down to a smaller scale. Some things that happened to me and people that I know around, and I'm talking dozens and dozens of people. The older you get, they will glean your information. So I'm just saying this as a precaution. I know that you've probably clicked off 10 minutes ago, but just as a precaution, be careful. I know with our FINE, we want to help people. We gravitate towards those we can help. We gravitate towards careers that are helping professionals. If you need to make a living, unfortunately, you're going to be in some type of corporate environment. That's where most of the money is. If you want to make good money that way, to do that. Just be aware. Be aware of not to be too nice with your NE. Do not give your extroverted intuition away in the workplace. It'll come back to bite you, more likely than not. I'm just trying to protect you. What to do instead, and if I'm wrong, put it in the comments below. I want to hear about it. How you got celebrated, how you got recognized. I know we don't do it for the recognition, but by golly, we need to, more and more. We need to be recognized for who we are and what we contribute, our contributions. But on the other side, for those two of you here that I'm talking to, who are still here, and I got off on kind of on a rant. I think what's going on in the world right now is just kind of get me in this kind of a rant in general. But just be careful. What you can do instead, what I would suggest is, if you want to take your ideas, want to see them in action, do it yourself. Go out on your own. And that's scary too. You might have to have a bill-paying job, but take your ideas and go out on your own. I know there are a lot of YouTube people, I'll be a YouTube creator. I want to be an influencer. Well, as we can see now, there's raining in the rains. You're tired of me talking about YouTube and ads. I just saw a video today, YouTube, where a creator, I can't think how many thousands of subscribers he's got. I would say like 300,000 subscribers, that they're shutting him down, YouTube, because they say he copies, when what he's doing is he's reacting to other videos. And he's making a lot of money, evidently. And so they're shutting him down. And so he made a video about his leaving. So yeah, take your ideas to yourself. Start your own company. Start your own thing. Don't give it away. That's all I have to say. Care about you. Hope the world gets better. My gosh, I hope the world gets better. I will try to do more videos. They're going to be in socks because I don't have the energy to get all gussied up and do it through Zoom right now. Maybe the world will be in a better place next week. But until next time, stay safe.